There has never been a better time than now to start your journey into cybersecurity. It's projected that there will be over 3.5 million unfilled jobs by the year 2025 with massive opportunities for growth. But one of the problems that catches people right off the rip is the catch-22 issue of needing experience to get the job, but not being able to get the job to get the experience. It's a massive issue. Well, don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to be showing you what is actually going on in the cybersecurity world, how you can get experience in cybersecurity without having the job, and how you can get a job without any experience. I will tell you what you might be getting paid in cybersecurity, revealing actual salary numbers. I'll talk about the different type of entry-level jobs that you should be looking for, what they do and how fun they are, or what the level of work is. I'll talk about where you can find these cybersecurity jobs. I'll also share with you what you really need to get started in cybersecurity and what steps you can take today to start yourself down the path to landing your first cybersecurity job. So settle in, get a drink, get a notepad, get a pen, because we're going to be covering a lot of material in this video. I hope you're pumped. I sure am. Let's go. Hey there, if we haven't met before, really quick, there was so much content in this original video that I had to split it up into two videos. One is around how to get experience without a job in cybersecurity, and one is how to get an entry-level job in cybersecurity. There was so much content, it was amazing, so be sure to check out this video and this video to get the entire picture. Back to the show. My name's Gerald Auger. I'm a professor at the Citadel Military College in South Carolina in their cyber sciences department. I've also been working in the cybersecurity industry for over 20 years in a multitude of roles, including Chief Information Security Officer, Cybersecurity Architect, GRC Manager, Security Engineer on the defensive side, and a Security Analyst role. So I have really touched all the different roles, and I've even got to travel to some really cool places, including the South Pole. So cybersecurity can take you to wonderful, crazy places. So what is currently going on in the cybersecurity industry? So in today's world, there are so many technologies that come out almost daily, from, the new iPhone being announced every few months to VR headsets, autonomous vehicles, electric cars, foldable LED screens, IoT toasters. It's rampant amount of technology, which also introduces attack surface. The advancement of technology will only increase the need for security. As tech comes out, it has to be accessible. We have to make sure that the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of that tech is secure. According to Microsoft, by 2025, there will literally be 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs open globally going unfilled. Even today, in the United States alone, there are nearly 500,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs. Let's get to the cash money, right?
Straight cash, homie.
What do you get paid in cybersecurity? Not uncommon to get paid anywhere between, say, $60,000 for an entry-level job all the way up to a $110,000 job for entry level. Now, it will depend quite a bit on where you're living, right? So people in Silicon Valley or New York City are going to get paid higher to do the exact same job as somebody in Omaha, Nebraska. So where you live, the market or industry you're in, people in financial services typically get paid higher than people in education. It's just a fact. Okay? So don't use that bell curve and think like, it's only $70,000. I'm on the low end of the range, because it does matter on location and industry. But the good news is it's somewhere in that range for entry-level jobs, okay? According to some reports, and you'll see a little bit of variance, but on average, a SOC analyst, a common entry-level role in the industry, has an average salary of $96,716 US. Now, there's roughly 11,000 job openings that I was able to find with this particular role. So just to give you perspective, that's what's going on. If I'm being real with you, I think a $72,000 starting salary for an entry-level security analyst role with very little experience or background, but hungry attitude and a willingness to learn, and maybe they have their Sec Plus, a little bit of demonstrated security skill acumen, I think, $70,000 to $75,000 is completely reasonable and acceptable. And guys, that's like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type job. Different roles in the industry have different requirements that, sometimes require you to work weekends or holidays if there's a security incident and stuff like that, but we can get into that in a different video. What types of cybersecurity jobs are there out there, right? There's a ton. I mentioned cybersecurity specialist, which is kind of a vague terminology, right? This one is mostly a cybersecurity analyst. This is a person who's responsible for protecting an organization's system, their network, their data from cyber attacks, and this can include tasks such as identifying and assessing security threats, kind of like threat modeling, developing and implementing security policies and procedures, helping with the business, monitoring networks for suspicious activity, responding to security incidents. I'm combining basically two main roles here. GRC analyst, which is people who do things before bad stuff happens, and then SOC analyst. Those are the people who are watching for bad stuff to happen and take action when the bad stuff happens. Both are wonderful jobs. Both definitely have entry-level roles that you can get into, okay? Just to give you a little bit more granularity on what the day-to-day kind of expectations are for those roles, you could be conducting regular security assessments, using a vulnerability scanner to find endpoints that have, misconfigurations or missing patches and stuff like that. You might be configuring and maintaining security tools like firewalls, intrusion detection, EDR solutions, endpoint detection and response, basically working the security technologies at the business. You could be doing incident response and forensic investigations. This is the really juicy detective side of the house when bad stuff happens and you're actively responding, kicking threat actors out of your environment, analyzing the malware, seeing what they did, where they went, what they took. You could be developing and delivering security awareness training to employees of the business. Now, this is a GRC role, but I personally believe it is incredibly valuable and incredibly important to cyber risk reduction. So don't sleep on security awareness training. You could also be doing research to stay up to date on the latest security threats and technology. This is more of a threat intel role, but I will say, regardless of whatever job you have in the industry, researching and staying up to date on latest security threats is something that you're absolutely going to want to do. The industry moves so quickly, it changes so fast. If you're not staying up and current, you run the risk of actually missing something or not being aware, not giving the best options to the business on how to protect themselves appropriately. Just as a complete fun plug, one way to stay regular on latest security threats, I personally host a daily cyber threat briefing to over 200 people live every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, the channel that you're watching this video on. So if you want, go to simplycyber.io/streams and join us for the next one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Just to round out the analyst, GRC analyst, or the SOC analyst, you don't necessarily need certifications or specific experience prior to getting that job. Stacy Loki famously has been on my channel multiple times. You can check this interview with her where we're talking about working night shift at a SOC. She didn't have any of those experiences or certification prior to landing her first breakthrough job in cybersecurity as a SOC analyst, and she has loved her work and she has delivered great value to her organization. So don't put a bunch of obstacles in front of yourself and say it's too much, I can't do it, because it can be done and you can do it, I promise you. I do also want to mention, if the GRC analyst side of the house sounded interesting to you, I love GRC. I came up on GRC side. A couple specific things that are GRC analyst specific, they usually typically require less technical background. It's a less technical role. You will need to understand some technology, and as you get the role and move forward in your career, you'll want to get more comfortable with tech. But the GRC analyst does things like analyze policies and procedures to see if they're appropriate, do audits on compliance standards, inform the business on governance, assess risk. Are the controls you're currently implementing in your environment sufficient to reduce the risk of threat actors exploiting your business or compromising your endpoints to a level that the management is comfortable with? And if not, how much is it going to cost? How much time is it going to take? How many people do you need in order to address that risk and reduce it to an acceptable level? That's all GRC analyst work. And I personally, as I mentioned earlier, have developed what I called the GRC Analyst Masterclass, where I basically cover every single aspect of the GRC analyst role. And I include labs and all of that on how you do the role, how do you assess risk, why do you assess risk, and then I actually have a lab on assessing risk. So if you're interested, check out that. I'm very, very proud of that. I've heard many, many, many positive compliments of that course, and the reason I made it was to make it accessible for individuals to basically kick a hole in the door of entry-level GRC and just crush it as far as delivering value and crushing interviews. So that's the deal with that. Another job that's a good entry-level job in the industry is cybersecurity sales professional, okay? They're responsible for selling cybersecurity solutions and services to organizations. There's often two people. There's kind of like the sales person who does the talking and stuff, and then there's the sales tech person who does the demos. And if you're not comfortable with tech, don't sweat that either, because typically if it's a platform, if it's a tool, and you're going to be doing the tech demos, you're going to do them often and frequently. So you're going to get comfortable with the tech just by virtue of that. Security sales professionals make bank. Now, I don't have the numbers right now to support exactly how much, but I'm telling you right now, all the sales security people I talk to, they get a incredibly, very good regular annual salary, and then they get bonuses and commissions based on all the stuff they sell, which oftentimes they do. If money is where you're at and what you want, and that's your main focus, definitely don't sleep on security sales professionals, because there is absolutely a ton of opportunity there to make a lot of money. So that's just been a couple different jobs. Where can you find these jobs though, right? So that's always an important question. Like, Jerry, I'm all in on GRC analyst. I understand how to get the education and experience. I understand where to get certs and take the practice exams and all that, but where do I find these jobs? Okay, one of my favorite tools to look for cybersecurity jobs is over on LinkedIn, surprisingly. You should have a good LinkedIn profile with your header, a professional photo, a brief description, your name, and a list of all the amazing things that you've been doing to learn cybersecurity. But go over on LinkedIn, right? Check out the jobs, right? Go to the search bar, type in a job you want. GRC analyst, choose the filters to change entry level. Do you want to do remote work? Do you want to work in a certain industry? You make the choices. Choose your own adventure. You can see here, there are many full-time, fully remote GRC jobs with someone with entry-level skills that are actively being recruited for. Now, if you dig in a little bit, some of these might say entry level, 3 to 5 years of experience. But again, as we covered earlier with the Catch-22, you can get experience. You can stack it, right? If you work somewhere that is help desk or IT or whatever, reach out to the InfoSec department and say, hey, I'd love to help your mission. How can I help in my current role? Worm your way in there and take credit for that time that you're doing that as experience. You'd be surprised. You might be able to get to 3 years of experience just based on things you've already been doing to help information security at your business, at your organization, at your volunteer job. Don't sleep on that. Definitely account for all of that. Half of all jobs, and I don't have stats to support this, but based on my gut, half of all jobs in cybersecurity, especially entry-level ones, never get posted. They get word of mouth. I personally have connected multiple people with an open job, because someone will come to me and say, hey, Jerry, I got an opening. You know anyone? Yeah, I know someone. Boom. It saves the employer the time of having to put out a rec, cull through a bunch of resumes, call a bunch of people, schedule meetings, interview people, make decisions. It's like, hey, I trust you. Do you know someone? Yes, I know someone. All right, boom. There you go. Me personally, now granted, I've got 20 years of experience, but my last 3 jobs, I didn't even interview for. They literally called me and said, hey, I know you're working somewhere, but what would it take for you to quit and come work for us? Okay, let's do that. That's how powerful networking is. So believe me when I'm telling you, you need to invest in networking. Even if it's uncomfortable for you, just, get in there, start feeling it. You'll be surprised how quickly you get acclimated and how you can do it, okay? Definitely network with other cybersecurity professionals. Now, what do you really need to get started in cybersecurity? I've covered a lot of stuff. You might have been overwhelmed. You probably filled your page of notes already and you flipped onto the back. Well, depending on the skills you currently have and the field that you're currently in, you may already have many of the skills that you need to pivot into these roles. You do not have to start from zero. You do not have to reboot your career. You do not have to start over. You could be coming from chucketing, marketing, pharmacist, mechanic, retail, elementary school teacher, stay-at-home parent, heavy equipment operator. You could have a really interesting, different background and you're looking to pivot into cyber. I have put together a host of videos I'm very proud of on the Simply Cyber channel, capturing all these different type of roles and the stories of people who were actually in those roles and pivoted into cybersecurity, the challenges they encountered, the skills that were transferable, what lessons they learned, why they made the decision. So definitely check out those videos. I'll link the playlist below. I'm telling you, there's so much great free, accessible information, what can you do right this second? We've covered a million things in this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely use the markers below to jump back to certain sections. Bookmark this video. I think there's a lot of content, a lot of value in this video, and I want you to be able to soak up and extract every single gooey bit of goodness that was dropped in this video. But if you're looking to break into cybersecurity right now in 2023, check out this video right here. I made it. It's all about 2023 and how you can break into the industry. My name is Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of the video. I genuinely appreciate it. I hope to see you in the daily cyber threat briefing, and I really hope to hear from you that you broke into the industry. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you in the next one.